Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be giving you my NRL fantasy breakdown for round 6. Let's get right into it. So, last week review, my round 5 score was 997, just 3 points off 1000. I was very close but unable to get there. Still really happy with that score, and I'll be looking to get into the 1000s this week hopefully. The round 5 best performers of the week. First up we have Sean Johnson. With an average of 67, he was able to get that win for the Warriors, posting an 89 point score in fantasy. Getting that winning goal, and just had an overall good game, scoring a try. He was the best player of the round, almost getting 90 points. Cameron Murray and Harry Grant both posting scores of 87. They did really well in their game, both in the same game actually, and both good pickups if you don't have them yet. And they were really working hard in the game, so they were able to post that in fantasy scores. Then we have Tago scoring tries, which was able to get him up there to 82. Bit unusual, maybe a one-off. Wouldn't see that often from him. And then Preston posting a score of 82, scoring 2 tries, and overall was one of the best players on the field that night. He did really well for the Bulldogs and was able to get a score of 82 in fantasy. Then Nathan Cleary did really well. I captained him. A lot of people would have captained him. He done really well in fantasy as well. 80 points, and should look to be your captain maybe for the future weeks. He's back to his high scoring. And then also Osako, who also got 80 points. Then we have players like Cody Walker and Dom Young, Cook, Haas, Robson, Ben Hunt, Josh King and Miller, all big pickups, and Nico Hines getting 69. Obviously didn't get his high score like last week, but still making some money there with a score like that. And now I have my holds and sells for round 6. My holds, I've got Tabuai Fido with a score of 28. I think that's a one-off. He does need a try or something to get big scores, but I reckon you should hold him. Carrigan 35, really low score for him, but I think it's a one-off game. I would be keeping him. Don't go and sell him, especially if he could get a big score next week. Elias Katoa 35, that's pretty low as well for his normal scores, but definitely a guy you should not be trading. Moses 39, if you have him you should keep him, I reckon, even with that score below 40. And Brendan Hands, potentially more cash. There's no one really else to trade in for him. Just keep him for now, hold him for now with a score of 17. And Paulo, if you have him still, you should hold on him. He didn't play last week. Still got another week or 2 on the sideline, then should be back. Then I have my sells, Tedesco. I held on to him till last week. I'm glad I traded him out. He had a bad injury there against the Eels, and then he's losing cash as well, so I recommend getting off him now with a score of 19. Ben Trbojevic also with injury. I notice a lot of people have him, so if you have him, I don't think he's a guy to have. Smith Shields with his low scores is a sell, 4 points there. Coruscant 27, you can get other guys at his price, and Harris is pretty expensive and he didn't play. I reckon there are other solid options there that could guarantee maybe high scores. And Nichols is getting low scores now, 29. I think a guy that you should move on from. And now I have my must-haves. Again, pretty similar. There's no real cheapies going around that are must-haves. We have the regulars, Grant with an 87 last week, and Yo with a 64. You can choose between any of these players, but I reckon you should have at least a couple of these players. Haas with 73, Hopgood with 51, Cleary with 80, and Murray with 87. All those guys really good options to have, and you should have at least 2 to 4 of these at least in your side. Then I have my trade options and price range. Difficult week this week. So far, all I see is probably Hands or Murdoch Masila in the 0 to 300k range. No really options that would be good for cheapies this week. I don't think as so far. Hands, maybe make some money. Murdoch Masila, maybe get you 30 plus scores. 3 to 400k, same with that one. You could get Bloor. Was that a one-off week? I'm not sure. Chester, he's doing well. He's got a couple weeks before Scott Drinkwater comes back. 4 to 600k, we've got Walsh, Preston and Osako. You've got to wait on Preston to see if he will play through injury he had. Sarko, he's getting really high scores, obviously scoring tries, but Walsh also doing really well, so he's another guy you could have. 6 to 800k. Now Hosking is getting 50 plus, 60 plus scores now. He's a guy that you could trade in. We'll just have to see. Johnson is doing really well. Obviously he's not going to get 80 plus scores every week, but he could still get 70 plus, 60 plus. Definitely a guy you could look to have. And Josh King, he is doing really well in his scoring and is an option. Murray, Grant, Cleary and Yo, 800k plus. All guys that are options if you're looking to trade someone in that price range, maybe Harris. And that is my round 6 fantasy analysis and breakdown. I thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video.